everyone. Welcome back to Speaking with Intent, a podcast where I try and dive into clear, deliberate communications and how it builds respect, influence, and trust in your everyday life. I'm your host, Paul, and if you're new here, I'm all about real-world strategies, no fluff, no scripts, just tools you can use right away to help you speak with purpose and be heard the first time. Today, I'm tackling something that's everywhere, but often mishandled, and that's feedback. Whether it's at work, in a relationship, or even with yourself, giving and receiving feedback can feel like walking through a minefield. But done right, it's not about criticism, it's about growth and stronger connections. In this episode, I'll break down the hidden language of feedback, why it triggers defensiveness, how to deliver it with clarity and intent, and ways to receive it without shutting down. Stick around because by the end you'll have a simple framework to turn feedback into fuel for better conversations. Let's start with why feedback goes wrong so often. Picture this. You're in a team meeting and your colleague says, "Your report was a bit confusing." Well, you get defensive, right? There's no substance to that kind of feedback. You think, "What do you mean confusing? I worked hard on that." But here's the thing. Most feedback fails not because of the content, but because of the delivery. We focus on what without clarifying the why or the intent behind it. In my military days, briefings were life or death sometimes. Vague feedback could lead to real mistakes. So we learned to strip it down, be specific, tie it to impact, and always frame it around shared goals. Research from places like the Harvard Business Review shows that people are 40% more likely to act on feedback when it's delivered with positive intent up front. So how do we do that? Let's get practical with a 3-step framework I call Intent, Impact, Improve model. It's straightforward, and you can use it even today. Step 1 is state your intent. Start by making it clear this isn't an attack, it's about helping. For example, instead of jumping in with your email was unclear, say, "I want to make sure we're all aligned on this project, so I'm sharing some thoughts on the email." This sets a collaborative tone and reduces that knee-jerking defensiveness. Intent is your anchor. It reminds everyone you're on the same team. Step 2, describe the impact. Don't just say what happened. Explain how it affected things. Be specific and observable. Try this. The email mentioned the deadline but didn't outline the next steps, which left me unsure about my role. See? No blame, just facts tied to outcomes. This keeps it objective and shows you're not making it personal. And move on to step 3, which is improvement. End with actionable ideas, phrased as options, not orders. Something like this. What if we added a bullet point summary of responsibilities? That might help everyone move faster. This type of response shifts the focus to solutions and invites the buy-in. Now let's flip it. What about receiving feedback? It's easy to feel attacked, but remember feedback is data, not a verdict on your worth. The key is to listen with intent. Next time someone gives you input, pause, take a breath, then respond with curiosity. Try this. Can you give me an example of what you mean? Or what's the impact you're seeing here? This not only clarifies their point, but shows you're open, which builds trust. In fact, studies from Gallup indicate that teams with regular open feedback loops are more than 20% more profitable because people feel valued and heard. What if the feedback feels unfair? Don't dismiss it outright. Acknowledge it first. Something like this. "I appreciate you sharing that. It gives me something to think about." Then, if needed, share your perspective calmly. Something like this. "From my side, I intended to highlight X because of Y. How does that land with you?" This turns it into dialogue, not a debate. Let me share a quick story from my coaching days. I had a client, a tech lead, who dreaded performance reviews. He always got defensive, which stalled his growth. He practiced the framework, or when he practiced the framework, in his next review, instead of arguing, he said, "Thanks for the feedback on my presentations. Can you walk me through the impact?" Turns out his boss just wanted more data visuals. Simple fix, and it led to promotion within 6 months. Feedback isn't the enemy, poor handling is. One underserved angle here, feedback in creative fields, like writing or design, where it's super subjective. Artists and creators often hear things like, "I don't like it," without any context, which kills motivation, and it has no substance to it, really. Apply the same model that I just talked about. My intent is to help refine this piece. The impact is that the color scheme feels overwhelming, pulling focus from the message. For improvement, what if we toned it down a bit? Tone down the reds. Suddenly it's constructive and it's not crushing, and there's some context to it. There's some substance. Okay, wrapping up. Feedback doesn't have to be feared. It's a tool for influence when delivered and received with clear intent. Try the Intent, Impact, Improve framework this week or whenever you have the opportunity. Whether you're giving notes to a colleague or getting input from a friend, you'll notice conversations flow better, trust deepens, and respect grows. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe for more weekly episodes on communication at work and real life. If you think it might help somebody or somebody might have some input, share it with somebody. I'd love to hear your feedback on my feedback episode. That would be very helpful. Or I can get into some more details. I'd be happy to do that. And if you have a tough conversation story, drop it in the reviews or reach out. Until next time, speak with intent.